Alrighty, what is going on, chill investors? All right, super excited to go over a few things with you guys, what I'm seeing in the market, what my positions currently are. Am I adding? Am I buying? Am I selling? What am I doing here? Am I doing some cash secured puts? Okay, we're going over a few new strategies that we built here, having to do with undervalued and overvalued stocks. So let's go take a look. This is going to be kind of what we actively hold, or there might be one or two that we are now out of, but we are looking to get back into. So this is my list. This is what I'm playing with. Obviously, I have a complete alerts watch list that is 800 something stocks. Maybe. Oh no, I trimmed it. Maybe now it's down to 400 or something. Um, I just keep an eye on everything kind of in the market. These are just companies that had, green days, and now I can see kind of what's had bad days: BBAI, Fubo, ONDS, LifeMD. So I just kind of keep an eye of, competitors to what we're currently holding. But what I wanted to go over was this active list and kind of what our thought process is and how this indicator is working. Okay. So as you can see, it tells you add, tells you when to buy, tells you when to trim, a sell, right? So there's a few color combos. So light red is like, okay, you are kind of entering a sell zone. Okay, that's a light red. Light green, like this one, you can barely tell it's green, but it's a light green, is telling you you're kind of entering a buying zone. So just kind of be aware, right? That's all it's telling you. Same thing here. You got a sell zone here. All right. And then what we have down here is another indicator, but as you can see, it's kind of green. So I probably wouldn't have sold, right, with us having so much green. And then when we got to this red area, see this red area? Where is this? This candle is the red day. Well, the red day lines up with these red candles. So probably would have sold here. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now we have an ad, but it's on red, but now we have bright green. Bright green is the true buying zone. Light green is the like, hey, be aware of your situation. Let's keep an eye on what's going on, right? But this light green came in during the red. So now we get a nice ad, but it's red, so I'm not doing it yet. And then we get green, which means we're in the buy zone, and I get a green dot. So we could be buying right here, okay? Sure enough, like I said, here's the sell zone. But now we have ad, it's red, and we finally got the buy zone green again, okay? So same thing, if this plays out the same way, right? This was a nice, I don't know, 70% run. So could we get another 70% run? Well, we're going to find out, okay? Same thing happened here, right? We entered a buy zone area. We got an ad on the green, but we finally got the label ad. So the color combos are telling you you're in the zone, and then the labels are kind of telling you might be a good idea. Okay, like it's a good idea, like it's undervalued enough to where this might be a good point to start doing it. Same thing, add buy. We got green dots, so you probably would have bought any time in this zone. A couple few green dots, and then you wouldn't have sold or trimmed. Right, we entered a sell zone, and we finally got a label saying trim. It dipped. Could have trimmed here, but you already kind of trimmed here, so I'm not sure if you would have done it again. And the marker is green, right? So at some point you trimmed in this area, okay? And then we finally got to this red candle on a red day, on a red bottom area, so would have sold right here, okay? And then vice versa. So that's how the indicator's working. It's kind of, you're just pairing these two together, kind of seeing what you're seeing. Again, the light red and the light green are just telling you be aware. And then the neon colors are more telling you like you're in the zone. Okay, now just be ready to watch closer. Okay, we're getting there. It's going to be a couple days. Each candle's representing a day. So that's Archer, but we're going to go ahead. Archer looks like a buy. I do believe we put a buy signal out there in the group chat yesterday. So if you were in this, awesome. Let's take a look at the other one. So I'm just going to go down the list. Okay, so here's Cypher. Okay, we did get ads and buys here, and then we got some trims. You hit a little light green, you got another trim, and you finally got a sell here. But as you can see, it's obviously was green during this sell. So you kind of waited till we got a red moment, and then you would have got out here. So yeah, you would have got out somewhere in the 19-18 range. Sure, it went to 25, but it also came right back down to 13, and we kind of entered a buy zone. and you could have got in on a green dot if you chose to. Buy zone, green dot, that's up to you. Now, it's not such an obvious buy that it's like an add buy zone, but it's depreciated enough to enter somewhat of entering a zone where you could implement or start thinking about adding. And then we've gone back up since that green dot, right? The green dot came in. We were somewhere in this 15, 16 range, and now you're at 19. All right, so nice quick gain. All right, let's go down to Oscar. Okay, Oscar, nice buy zone, add zone, add zone, add buy zone. Here's a green dot. Sure enough, green dot came in on the day it was 13, ran up to 16, and now we're up to 18. Okay, we've had a few trims up here, but it never got so overvalued to where it didn't make sense, right? We are heading in, we thought ACA extension was going to come into play during the government shutdown. So we held. Okay. And now it's back on the table and we're going back up. So if you added or bought here, our group did. Hims, love this Hims. Okay. Believe it's my now largest holding. Oscar or Hims is my largest. But we got a nice add, trim, sell, add, trim, add, and now we finally hit a buy zone. Okay, this is by far the most oversold it has been in a long time. Last time we got a buy indicator was in August of 2023 and October of 2022. Okay, and we finally got a buying opportunity. This is why we have bought more. As well. Again, not financial advice, just telling you what I'm doing and what I am seeing. But we got a buy and then we got a green dot. So sure enough, we did buy somewhere in this 35 range and we're back up to 38 right now. All right, so SBET, we're finally entered a buying zone, okay? The official buying zone, somewhere in this 910, and we got a green dot. What day is that? Tuesday. We got a green dot on Tuesday. Somewhere, let's see, close was 983, so just under $10. Back above 10 right now. So we're going to see if this reversal comes into play, but we didn't. Last time we were in the buy zone was before this big old spike happened. Obviously, this is before SBET was really an Ethereum treasury, so I don't really take too much back testing into this one because no one was looking at it while it was a gaming company, right? We're mainly looking at it now because it's Ethereum. ASST, we got a buy here somewhere at the 90. I wasn't paying attention then. I was kind of waiting it out while crypto was moving. This has kind of stabilized at the low $1 range, so that's when we bought it. Somewhere on one of these days, it hit $1.97, something like that, and we got in it. All right, so that's just my Bitcoin play. And we went over Archer, the buy, green dot. So we got JD most recently, found a new bottom, gave us a green dot yesterday. We've been in this one. I didn't add to my position because I just have leaps for January 2027. So I got plenty of time. Just going to hold on to what I have, not down a whole lot. Zeta, okay. I'm waiting to see. This is one I am testing out because we got the ad here, but we didn't get a green dot until the company has already ran 17% to the upside. And I believe in Zeta. I mean, I did buy on this ad alert just because Zeta's been on my watch list. So I did get in at like 16, 15, somewhere down here. But it could have easily kept going down. I just kind of added a very small position, like not, I would say it's 1% of my total position I want in Zeta. So I just took a stab at it. Luckily enough, it paid off and the green dot did come. But I wanted to see, this would be the day actually the green dot came in, and I want to see where the stock goes from here. So this one's kind of a test on this ad here and the green dot and seeing if it's still worth getting in, even if it ran 17% on the close that day. Okay. SoFi. Okay, this one's played out fairly well on the indicators as well for SoFi. We got a nice buy, add, trim, sell. Trim if you still had a little bit more. Then you got an add here, and then the buy April. And then we got a nice trim. Okay, and then you do have this light green 1 day opportunity that came in that was like, if you wanted to add, it got into the 23s. And it flashed right back, right? 23 was the low. It closed at 24.70, so it almost came back to 25. But it gave you and it's saying like, we're kind of getting the buy zone. If you wanted to take a stab at it, you could have. But the MACD flipped green and we're back at 28.50. Okay. ABCL, this is one that we put an alert in as well. We did enter a buy zone and we did get a green dot. Okay. So yeah, that's what we bought it for right there. 364. That's what we own it for. Again, it's played very well. Buy, buy, add, buy, trim, trim, trim. And now we're back in the buy, add zone here. So we're going to see how this one plays out as well. So I'm kind of seeing a lot of tides are turning. A lot of things are overextended to the downside on the MACD. ASTS, I have added, even though it's light green, looks like this is going to be curling up and getting the green light here. So I just went ahead and bought at 55. And we're going to see how this plays out. I'm testing a few things, but after a 50% pullback, I don't think I have a problem really adding. Knowing that it was just here 30 days ago at 100, I don't think I have a problem adding at 55 at some good support where it's bounced a couple times. If we get back down below 50, right down at 49, 48 again, you could see me add. Sorry, hiccups. So early stages for this indicator when a company is so small, right? Super small companies like this one back when it was $1 become overvalued extremely fast. So therefore we'll get some early signals. So at the early stages when you own a company like this, you just need to know what you own. But now that the company has some true volume, its evaluation's now 20 billion. It's not a 300 million evaluation or something like that. These indicators start truly working when it starts becoming just like a mid cap, small cap, mid cap, just not a micro cap like it was back here. Okay. Rocket Lab, same thing, early stages, trim, sell. Okay, so we still hit the sells, but you would have got back in on an ad or here, right here where kind of sell alerts happened. So again, you didn't miss a huge chunk, obviously. I mean, any miss, but you're never going to time the top and you're not going to time the bottom. But if you do get in right back where we said to get back in at on these buys and sells and ads, trim, trim, sell, right? Like you still bought back at 17 and you got a sell alert at 47. And if you still had any more, it would have told you to trim at 65. Okay. And then it ran right back down to 41, below even where you said the sell button was. Okay. And now you get to add again. So I would say the majority of the winning is taking your 80% profits, and you're never going to get 100% from bottom to top. But if we can get the majority of that 80% move, I'm happy with that. Okay. ONDS, same thing, gave you that light green, gave us a green dot. Green dot was on a day where the close was 579. We're now back to 824. Okay. So this is the power of the green dot mixing with our color combos. Trim, trim, sell. And then we got a red alert up here as well, which would have got you a red dot on this day, somewhere on a close of 1045, right? So again, this went hyperbolic. This went hit 5. And again, you'll pay attention to earnings too. Like my goal is to not only work off of this indicator, but I also know what's going on around the company itself. So I take the sell into account, but they're announcing contracts after contracts after contracts, right? Like everything's going right. They're on a steamer right now. We're getting a lot of like tightness. We're not getting this big separation. You see where this big separation comes into play? A bigger separation comes into play, right? When that blue and orange line start separating more, that means that the reversal is a lot stronger. When it kind of is not too spread apart here, right? It just means we're going to kind of move a little and consolidate, kind of like this right here. Boom, boom, boom. Just consolidating. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Okay. Then we finally got that big separation gap, and then we came down. Okay. So the bigger this, the kind of gap between them, the bigger the moves that are happening either to the upside or to the downside. Okay. So Fubo, we're in Fubo. Long term with the merger happening, it's going to be good. So we got an ad here. We got a little bit of a buy, right? And then we got a green light. So then it ran, right? But it hasn't gotten to the point where it's super overvalued until the last time was in that early January when it was $1 and spiked to 6. We got a little trim at 5. So now we're getting back in. We are entering that buy zone, but we're waiting for this green light to flick for us to go ahead and add to our position. So that's what I'm seeing. It follows Bitcoin as well, but Bitcoin obviously it's not as like, there we go. It's not doesn't become overvalued and undervalued as often as like a stock does. But I mean, we got some buy, add, trim, sell, sell, trim, trim, add, buy, add, trim. I mean, like it's still kind of getting the tops and the bottoms here. Trim, add, trim, buy. We finally got a buy. The last time we got a buy was in 2022. Same thing, Ethereum, although Ethereum has been kind of more consolidation than it has been Bitcoin. We're finally hitting the stride. We do got buy, add, trim, 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 sell, trim, buy, trim, buy, add, trim, add, buy, right? So you can see that the timing is it's there. It's grabbing the bottom of each move, right? So like you have this big, like a lot of people during this time, right? This is from December to January, so beginning of December to January, we didn't get any alerts saying this is a good time to buy yet. Okay, now we're getting the alerts and we're waiting for that green dot. And yeah, sure, you would have bought some at 26. You would have bought some at 18. You would have bought some at 22. And then would you have been mad when you got the trim alert at 37 and the trim alert at 46? No. And then you got the buy alert at 2700 again, right? Like if you're long term and you stop worrying about the tomorrow, it didn't go to, it didn't go 100% in the next day. If you get that out of your mind and just let the company you believe in do its thing, um, then you're good. That's why we pick companies that we believe in long term, that are going to get to that point where they can do these moves and get us some trim alerts and sell alerts. Now this isn't going to tell me like, hey, like let's just imagine, for example, let's go hymns, right? This green dot will tell me, yeah, we're going to make a little move to the upside, but this isn't going to tell me that we're now entering a bear market and to just stay out of it, right? This is meant to, trim and sell towards the top and keep buying and adding along the way with your signals of green. Okay, so see how you got this ad? We didn't even get an ad. Okay, ad, we haven't gotten a green light until recently. Okay, but this green light came into play. We got a little bit of a spike up, but there was no ad buy. There was here, and there was a green light, right? So you'll get green lights with some ads, and it doesn't mean that the bottom's exactly in, but if you keep adding and dollar cost averaging into positions on these alerts, in the long run, it pays out, right? So here's an example for Zeta, okay? Add, buy, right? Now we got trim cells, trim cells, trim, right? And now you got some add, you got some add, you got some add, buy, add, right? This all started taking place somewhere in, let's just say, the high of 20. You got another add somewhere at 18, another add at 13, another buy somewhere in 13, 14, 12, 14. Okay. Now we're at 18. Okay. And now Zeta's picking up steam, right? So if you just keep along that you believed in Zeta this whole time, right, you're pretty much at your dollar cost average, no gain, no loss, but everyone's momentum is telling you we're going back to this 38 right now. I mean, that's what I'm seeing that people keep talking about. So I just keep adding and buying on the lows and the indication that we're going higher. Okay. Um, Again, long-term investing, that's the game plan. Same thing, HIMS, right? Yeah, we've gone to 72, we've gone to 27, we've gone to 65, we've gone back down to 40, back up to 65, back down to 33, right? Like, just keep adding on the lows when it gives us a nice indicator, right? And then go ahead and hit your trim spots. Up to you on how you want to trim and buy and what percentages for each one, right? But it looks like we're tagging the bottoms and selling near the top, so I'm good with that. That's what I'm seeing on the crypto side. It looks like the buys have come in. Bottom seems to have come in. When I'm taking a look at the SPY, what do we got? Green dot yesterday. Okay. We're going to see. It wasn't nearly as down as we see right here, like in April, way down here at the bottom, right? This came down, but it didn't come very deep down for us to have this big move that we had. So I'm very curious on what that's going to look like. Can we get a super, long bull run? Or are we just only going to get kind of a small one, a good run, get up to this maybe 7,200 and then fall back? IWM is in a different place though. Came back further down, right? Came back further. We're 2 dots in green. We broke out of this downtrend. Could we come back and retest it? Absolutely. But we got a green dot. Okay. Same thing, green dots on the NASDAQ. We got a green dot. So we're going to see and see if this holds. So we did get that light green. We got a trim at the top. We got trim, add, buy, like it's add, trim, like add, trim, add, trim, add, buy, trim. Like it's tagging these tops. It's hitting a sell up here. Finally got too overvalued, right? I think we got a little bit of red. Do we get any red? Yeah, we got some light red here. So light red, could have sold, trim. So indicator is working. I'm really excited. I think that we are heading into a Santa's rally. I am fully into the market. I am enjoying it. Pullbacks are meant to happen. That's the only way we can go higher. But even though pullbacks have happened, for example, like ASTS, a 50% pullback, right? 102 back down to 50, came right back down. Yeah, but guess what? Where we were last time when it was $50, it was October 2nd. Okay, it was 45 days ago, 60 days ago, right? We were here already. It's not anything different. I was already here. I've been here since July 2025, been here since June 2025. So we're going to come down, we're going to test this, and then we're going to go break 102 and head to 130. Like, in order to go higher, you have to come back, pick up some buyers along the way, and then head up to the higher highs. So excited. Excited for what's going on. Excited for the new indicator. It is working based on what I'm seeing on the back test. So now it's time to just implement it. I'm ready for the next run. I'm ready to trim when it tells me to trim. We're going to do this thing. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy Thanksgiving.